Have you ever stopped to think about what happens in the final moments of life? It's a question many of us shy away from, largely because death is such a heavy and uncomfortable topic. Yet, understanding the subtle signs that precede a person's passing can transform the fear that often surrounds death into a sense of peace. It can change regret into a meaningful connection during the most crucial time of all, the final farewell. In this video, we'll be exploring the 6 universal signs that appear before someone passes away, drawing from the wisdom of Dr. Patricia Jacobs, a 73-year-old palliative care expert who has witnessed more than 2,100 passings throughout her remarkable 40-year career. These signs, ranging from small shifts in eating habits to the profound silence of a final goodbye, are not merely medical markers or physical changes. They are deeply significant signals that life itself is quietly preparing for its departure. Recognizing these moments isn't just about being observant. It's about understanding that each one of them carries profound meaning. As difficult as it may be, this knowledge allows us to embrace the process of dying with compassion, rather than fear. Watching this video until the very end will equip you with invaluable knowledge. Knowledge that will help you recognize these moments as they unfold, so you can ease a loved one's suffering and prepare your own heart for their final journey. You'll discover how to remain fully present, offer comfort in a way that truly matters, and find beauty in life's closing chapter, even as you prepare to say goodbye. Whether you're facing the imminent loss of someone dear, reflecting on your mortality, or simply looking to better understand life's deepest mysteries, this video will provide you with practical insights as well as emotional clarity. Dr. Jacobs' stories of peaceful passings and heartfelt goodbyes will offer you comfort and courage as you approach these delicate moments with love. Don't let this opportunity pass by. Watch until the end and learn how to make every farewell a moment of grace. By embracing these signs with understanding, you can transform the unknown into a source of strength for yourself and your loved ones. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on any future videos. Your support means the world to me. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with others who might benefit from these insights. If this topic resonates with you, please comment 1 below to let me know. If it doesn't, feel free to comment 0, so I can work to improve and create content that better serves you. Now, let's begin. 1. Decrease in eating. The first unmistakable sign that a loved one may be approaching the end of their journey often comes quietly but unmistakably through a decrease in their food intake. It can begin with small, subtle changes. Maybe they start to eat less at mealtimes or decline dishes they once eagerly devoured. Phrases like, "half is enough," or "maybe later," begin to replace the familiar chatter about favorite meals. As this shift occurs, it can leave family members feeling uneasy, unsure of how to react, especially when they've always seen their loved ones enjoy their meals with gusto. But what's truly important to understand is that this decrease in eating isn't a result of a lost appetite from an advancing illness, nor is it rooted in emotional struggles like depression. Rather, it is a natural and deeply profound sign that the body is slowly preparing itself for its final phase. The body, with its quiet wisdom, no longer requires the same levels of energy it once did. And though it can be heartbreaking to witness, it is part of the journey, a final act of release. For family members, the temptation to force a loved one to eat during this time is understandable, but it's a path that can cause more harm than good. Forcing them to eat when their body is signaling that it no longer needs nourishment can lead to unnecessary discomfort, both physically and emotionally. This isn't a time to focus on nutrition in the traditional sense. Instead, it's about honoring the process and respecting their body's wishes. Small portions, something light and comforting, are all that's needed. There is great beauty in this gentle shift, one that moves beyond the act of eating as a routine and into a sacred space of emotional connection. Perhaps offering just a bite of their favorite food, something tied to happy memories, or a sip of warm tea that gives them comfort. These small, meaningful gestures show care in a way that transcends mere sustenance. It's not about forcing normalcy. It's about cherishing these precious moments and making them feel heard, seen, and loved. In these final stages, The act of eating shifts from a necessity to an expression of love. It's a way to remain present, to continue showing your care even when the focus is no longer on feeding the body, but on nourishing the soul. Allowing this process to unfold with grace and understanding allows both you and your loved one to find peace, acceptance, and tenderness in those last moments together. It's an emotional act, a final gift, and a profound reminder that sometimes the smallest gestures carry the deepest meaning. 2. Deepening sleep. As your loved one's appetite fades, it's natural to notice a profound shift in their sleep patterns, one that can leave us both heartbroken and at peace. You may see them sleeping more deeply, resting for longer stretches, and appearing less aware when they wake. What once were small, brief naps may now transform into prolonged, unbroken slumbers. And as the days pass, you might witness them drifting into an almost ethereal, trance-like state, where it feels as if they're slipping further away from this world. This deepening sleep is not an indicator of discomfort or pain, but rather a natural and gentle process of the body conserving energy for the journey ahead. Just as their need for food wanes, so too does the need for constant wakefulness. The body is preparing itself, quietly retreating into a peaceful rest, storing energy in the most delicate of ways. It's almost as if the person is softly stepping back from the hustle of life, finding solace in this deep slumber as they prepare for what lies beyond. For those of us who remain, this transition can feel heavy with emotion. It's difficult to witness someone we love slipping further into this quiet stillness, especially when they seem so distant, so unreachable. Our hearts ache at the thought of them seemingly drifting away, yet it's important to understand that this is part of a deeply natural, sacred process. This isn't just a physical change, it's an emotional and spiritual journey that's unfolding. Instead of trying to pull them back into full consciousness, we must accept that their rest is not only necessary but part of the peace they deserve in their final moments. The deeper they sleep, the more it serves as a protective shield, a way to ease them from the physical strain of remaining awake, and offering them a tender refuge from any discomfort. It becomes a sacred space, a quiet retreat from the challenges they may be facing. During this time, it's so important to create a serene, calming environment, one that supports their transition with tenderness, allowing them to move toward the next phase with dignity, comfort, and grace. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This deepening sleep, while painful to witness, is a sign of preparation, a final moment of rest before the soul embarks on its next great journey. It's a beautiful reminder of how life's most precious transitions can be both deeply personal and profoundly spiritual. As they rest, we, too, must rest in the understanding that this is a peaceful and inevitable part of life's cycle, a transition that brings both closure and the quiet promise of what's to come. 3. Changes in breathing. As the body embarks on its final journey, one of the most poignant and noticeable changes that family members may witness is a shift in the person's breathing patterns. The rhythm of their breath, which once seemed so steady and familiar, begins to alter. It may become erratic, with long pauses that make the air feel heavy and shallow, quick breaths that leave you wondering if they are struggling. At times, you might hear deeper, more laborious inhalations, as though their body is working harder to draw in air. These changes in breath, while deeply unsettling, are not a cause for panic. They are a natural part of the dying process, a way for the body to gradually slow down and prepare for the inevitable. One of the most profound patterns you may witness is called Cheyne-Stokes respiration. In this cycle, the breathing alternates between deep, heavy breaths and shallow, barely noticeable ones. There may also be moments where the person seems to stop breathing entirely, their chest rising and falling only after a brief pause, as if time itself has momentarily stopped. It can be a haunting sight, and it is often met with feelings of confusion or fear. But what this rhythm truly reflects is the body's delicate shift into its final stages. It is the process of conserving energy, sparing the precious reserves of life as the person gently edges closer to their final moments. Another sound that might send a wave of discomfort through those present is the death rattle, a gurgling sound caused by fluids collecting in the throat or lungs. This sound, though distressing, should not be misinterpreted as a sign of suffering. It is simply the body's way of shutting down its systems, and while it can be uncomfortable to hear, it rarely causes pain to the individual. The buildup of fluids in the back of the throat becomes a natural part of the body's surrender, and although it might be unsettling for loved ones, it is not an indicator of distress. For those watching, these breathing changes can feel incredibly difficult to endure. The once familiar sound of steady breathing can suddenly become unpredictable, causing the person to appear as if they are struggling to breathe. The quiet panic that fills the room can be overwhelming, especially for those who feel helpless in the face of such vulnerability. But in those moments, it is important to remember that these changes are not signs of suffering. They are a quiet, graceful way of signaling the body's transition from life to death. This is not a moment of chaos, but a soft farewell. In this sacred time, what the person needs most is peace. They don't need interventions or attempts to forcefully change their natural rhythm. Instead, what they need is presence. Your presence. They need your calm, your steady voice, and your loving touch. As a loved one, being there without attempting to control or fix the situation is one of the most powerful gifts you can give. Offer comfort in the simplest of ways: a gentle hand to hold, a soothing word, a soft caress. You don't need to speak loudly or act in a hurry. Your calm presence will help them feel safe, loved, and at ease as they journey through their final moments. In these deeply emotional moments, it is natural to feel a sense of sadness or fear. But when we can embrace the impermanence of life with tenderness and acceptance, we help guide our loved ones toward a peaceful passing. They leave this world not in chaos, but surrounded by love and the quiet assurance that they are not alone. And that, in itself, is one of the most powerful ways we can honor their journey. 4. Changes in consciousness. As your loved one approaches the final stages of life, you may begin to notice significant changes in their level of consciousness. It can be deeply unsettling when their responses slow down, and they no longer react to your voice or calls as they once did. At times, they may even seem distant, no longer acknowledging your presence at all, as though they're slipping away into a quiet, almost unreachable space. For those who have cared for them, this transformation can be heart-wrenching. Watching someone you love drift away, it feels as though they're leaving this world, and it's painful to witness. However, what we must remember is that these changes are a part of the natural process. The body is winding down, gently preparing for what lies ahead. In some cases, it might feel as if your loved one is caught between two worlds, the one they are leaving behind and the one they are moving toward. It is not uncommon for them to speak of or even reach out to loved ones who have already passed, like a spouse, a parent, or a dear friend. They may mention seeing faces or hearing voices of those they once knew, those who have already made their journey across to the other side. While these moments can be jarring and filled with emotional weight, there's a certain beauty in them. They serve as a reminder of the deep, spiritual connections we share beyond the confines of this world. This experience, often called the veil thinning, should not be feared but embraced for what it represents, a profound moment of connection with the divine and the departed. Though it may be hard to understand, there is peace in knowing that your loved one may be sensing the presence of those who've passed before them, finding comfort in their companionship during this final chapter. It's a moment of profound grace that offers solace not only to the one nearing the end of their life, but also to those witnessing the journey. Instead of trying to pull them back to the present, gently accept where they are. Rather than correcting or attempting to bring them into the present moment, show them compassion and understanding. Quietly affirming their experience with phrases like, "I'm here with you," or "It's okay to go, we love you," can provide immense comfort. These are not just words but a sacred offering, an acknowledgement of the peace and acceptance they need to find. Your gentle presence in this time of transition is a gift, and your reassurance can offer them the emotional and spiritual peace they need to move forward. Their consciousness may be shifting, but in these final moments, they may be experiencing something much deeper. These fluctuations in awareness can be moments of great peace, as they begin to detach from the physical world and make their way toward the next one. Your loving presence, being there, quietly offering comfort, can anchor them in this sacred transition, providing them with the peace they need to let go when the time comes. While it can be heart-wrenching for us as caregivers, there is an undeniable beauty in being part of this sacred, final journey. 5. Physical changes in the body. As we approach the final stages of life, the body begins to undergo profound changes, signaling its readiness to transition from this world. One of the first, and perhaps most striking, is the cooling of the extremities, especially the hands and feet. These once warm, comforting body parts now feel cold to the touch, a stark contrast to the body's warmth in other areas. It can be unsettling to feel this change, but it is a natural part of the process. As the body begins to redirect blood flow toward the vital organs, the heart, lungs, and brain, it shifts its focus away from functions that are less crucial for survival. This redirection of blood helps conserve energy, an essential preparation for the inevitable journey ahead. Along with this cooling of the extremities, the skin begins to show signs of a deeper transformation. It may become soft to the touch, losing the firmness that once defined it. The color too shifts, taking on a pale, almost grayish or bluish hue. This change happens because the circulation slows as the heart and other organs begin their slow, quiet cessation of activity. The once warm, vibrant skin loses its natural glow, as though the body is beginning to release its attachment to the physical world. For some, the skin may even take on a mottled appearance or become more translucent, further deepening the sense of disconnection from life's earthly energy. The face, once expressive and full of emotion, begins to reflect these changes as well. The facial muscles, which once controlled every laugh, every frown, every joyful expression, now relax. The once sharp, youthful features soften as the muscles that held them in place begin to slacken. Eyelids droop, and the face may take on an almost unrecognizable appearance. This can be startling, especially if the person was once vibrant, their face a canvas of emotions, love, and life. But these changes are not a sign of suffering. They are simply the body's natural way of preparing for the next stage. It is as if the body is slowly shedding its human form, letting go of the earthly shell that once housed the soul. This transformation is the body's way of preparing for the inevitable release, a peaceful departure from the physical realm. For loved ones witnessing this process, it may be helpful to understand that these changes are not to be feared but rather embraced as part of a natural, sacred journey. The body, though appearing different, is not in pain. It is simply transitioning, quietly, gently, allowing the soul to let go of its earthly burden and move on to what comes next. Rather than fixating on the physical changes that might be unsettling, it is more important to stay present, to be with your loved one in their final moments with love and compassion. Holding space for their transition, embracing them with understanding, and offering quiet support can be more meaningful than anything else. These physical changes are not to be seen as signs of loss but as a peaceful surrender, a letting go that allows the soul to journey onward with grace and dignity. This phase is the body's way of preparing to release, while the soul, free from its earthly form, begins its transition to the next phase of existence. In these moments, be gentle with yourself and with them as you witness the beauty of their journey. 6. Arrival of silence and farewell. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. In the final moments of life, a profound silence settles over the room like a heavy, sacred blanket. Everything slows. Time itself seems to pause, as though the very world is holding its breath in reverence. The rush of everyday life, the noise, the distractions, all fall away, leaving nothing but this stillness, this moment of profound solitude. It's a silence unlike any other, carrying with it an emotional weight that no words could ever truly encapsulate. It's as though, in this space, everything that has been said, done, or felt is distilled into its most pure and meaningful form. The room is filled with an energy of its own, one that is not empty, but filled with a quiet presence that speaks volumes. As this silence deepens, so too does the breathing of the person you love. Each breath becomes a delicate whisper, slower, softer, as though each exhale carries them closer to the peace they are about to embrace. It's a slow and sacred process, one that seems to stretch time itself. You might find yourself holding your breath, almost unwilling to disturb the sacredness of the moment, watching, waiting, and somehow knowing that you are witnessing something more than the end of a life. You're witnessing the closing of a chapter, a soul's journey to the next great adventure. Even though they may no longer speak, the presence of your loved one is still incredibly real, so palpable, so deeply felt. Their body may be motionless, but there are still small, meaningful signs of life, those delicate, subtle movements that carry with them so much meaning. A faint twitch of the lips, a barely noticeable squeeze of the hand, the flutter of an eyelash. These small gestures, though gentle, are like whispers from the soul, acknowledging your presence in a way that words never could. When you speak to them, offering words like "thank you" or "I love you," you may not expect a response, yet sometimes, there it is, a tiny, profound acknowledgement, a fleeting moment of connection that reminds you that they hear you, that they feel you, even now. This silence is not the absence of sound, but rather the sacred space in which love, gratitude, and farewell can be expressed without the need for further words. It's the moment when your connection transcends the limitations of the physical world. The presence of your loved one, the bond between you, remains as strong as ever. The need for words, for responses, dissipates, and the soul's language, one of love, of acknowledgement, takes over. In these moments, the silence becomes a prayer, a sacred communion between two souls that speaks louder than any spoken words could ever do. For the loved ones standing witness, this silence is an emotional and spiritual turning point. It's the final testament to all the love, sacrifice, and memories shared over a lifetime. In this quiet, sacred space, the simplest words often hold the most power. No grand speech is needed. No eloquent phrases. Just the raw truth of love and gratitude. This is the time to speak from your heart, to let the person know they are cherished, they are loved, and their journey, this last chapter, is meaningful and sacred. Sometimes, the most powerful words are the simplest ones. You are not alone. I love you. Thank you for everything. And as we stand in that sacred silence, we are reminded that life is not just about the moments we can see and touch. It's about the invisible threads that bind us to one another. The love, the shared experiences, and the emotional depth that transcends time. In this silence, the farewell is made not in grand gestures, but in quiet presence. It's in this space where we can offer the most powerful form of connection, a presence that speaks volumes, that honors both the person passing and the love that will forever remain between you. This moment of stillness is the most profound expression of love we can offer, a final farewell wrapped in the deepest form of grace. As we come to the end of this deeply emotional and reflective journey, we're reminded that the most profound moments in life often unfold in silence. It's in these still, quiet moments that we find the deepest connections, the purest forms of love, and the true meaning of goodbye. Life isn't just about the moments we can hear and see. It's about the invisible bonds that connect us all, those that endure beyond words and time. So, what have you learned from these reflections on silence, love, and final farewells? How has this shifted your perspective on the relationships in your life, or the way you approach life's inevitable transitions? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please, leave a comment below sharing one thing you've learned today and how you plan to carry it forward in your life. What is one way you'll practice bringing more presence and connection into your moments with loved ones? If you like this video, please don't forget to leave your comment, and take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt and thought-provoking content. Thank you for being part of this journey with us.